There it is, the 135-year-old Brooklyn Bridge. Steam power, horsepower, and raw manpower. That's what's built the Brooklyn Bridge. Built in an era before electricity, the Brooklyn Bridge is truly a handmade modern marvel. It took 13 long years to build the bridge between 1869 and 1883, years during which Thomas Edison invents a light bulb and a phonograph, Alexander Graham Bell invents a telephone, the buffalo were exterminated from the Great Plains, the catcher's mitt and curved ball were introduced to the game of baseball. In Washington, President Chester A. Arthur installs plumbing in the White House, and in Europe, Picasso and Einstein are born. Just some of the things that were happening in the world while we were building the Brooklyn Bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge is exactly 1,600 feet between each tower. And when it was completed, these towers of the bridge were the tallest man-made structures on the North American continent. Good to see you, Rose. Good to see you, KC Pilot. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. She's 135 years old. On this day, 135 years old, we had a big party. Everyone in Brooklyn had the day off. People in Manhattan had the half day off because, after all, Brooklyn put more money into the bridge. In fact, on opening day of the Brooklyn Bridge, the city of New York, which was then just Manhattan Island, they owed more money to the construction of the bridge. So Brooklyn paid for it mostly. It's absolutely beautiful day here in New York. Perfect day for the Brooklyn Bridge. Perfect day, perfect weather for the birthday of the Brooklyn Bridge. Right here on the lawn here in Brooklyn Bridge Park, right next to Jane's Carousel, later on this evening, you're going to have the great-grandson of Washington Roebling, the son of John Augustus Roebling, the creator and designer of the Brooklyn Bridge. They're going to have a little bit of a Q&A this afternoon right here on the lawn at around 7 o'clock. But it's kind of amazing, built in an era before electricity. That's right, Brooklyn was its own city at the time, and this bridge did facilitate, as us Brooklynites call it, the mistake of 98. The mistake of 1898, that's when the independent cities of Long Island City, Brooklyn, and New York, back then just Manhattan, all merged together along with Richmond County. Good to see you, Dawn. Happy birthday, Brooklyn Bridge. You are more than welcome. I was going to do something special, but I gotta hurry up and get back to the house, so I was going to walk the bridge and buy a cake and look completely crazy, but I am right now on my bicycle tour. I got 2 people from India, 2 people from Michigan on the ride. So we have a few minutes here. People are going to Jacques Torres, getting some chocolate. So I said, let me talk about the Brooklyn Bridge here. See, I love when people just they see me filming here, so they have decided to stop right in the middle of the shot because, you know, that's how cool they are. I'm hanging out in the shade right now. It's a beautiful, warm day here in New York City right now. And yeah, it's a great day here in New York. It's the Brooklyn Bridge's birthday. I wish there was I could buy the bridge of cannoli. I was gonna get like cupcakes and stuff like that, and I was gonna try to give out cupcakes on the bridge, but yeah, I got the minute I end this tour, I gotta rush home. So, but beautiful Jane's Carousel here. Jane Volentis made this happen. Some 2 decades. It took Jane Volenta and the Volentis brothers 2 decades to get this carousel over here. Isn't that a beautiful bridge, Carl? Good to see you. 135 years old. On this day, 135 years old, we throw a big party. And when I mean a big party, 13.5 tons of fireworks were released from the bridge in a fireworks show that lasted nearly 3 hours. Kind of amazing. There's a great painting of this fireworks show. Go to the Museum of the City of New York, and there's this massive painting of the bridge exploding with color. I would give anything to see the opening of the Brooklyn Bridge. When I look back at history, when I look back at what was the biggest party, was it the Statue of Liberty? Was it Central Park? No. The Brooklyn Bridge. That was the party. The president came down. All the different armed services came down. At this very moment, 135 years ago, if you can imagine, there was a parade. The parade lasted all afternoon. Dignitaries from around the world crossed the bridge. Again, it was built in an era before electricity. In fact, Thomas Edison donates lights for the bridge. So thus, the Brooklyn Bridge becomes the first electrified bridge in the world. And in fact, electricity was commercially available in Lower Manhattan for about 2 weeks. So this newfangled invention called electricity was just starting out when the Brooklyn Bridge opened up. Kind of amazing, with a beautiful view there. #1 World Trade Center right behind it. If I have to recommend any movies about the history of the Brooklyn Bridge, I have to recommend a lovely film from 1980. It's called Brooklyn Bridge. It's done by Ken Burns. It was on PBS many times. It was on YouTube. I was looking for the link for it to YouTube, but unfortunately, the copy that I found is long gone. So hopefully they'll reemerge. But look that up. The opening scene of that movie from 1980, starring done by Ken Burns, directed by Ken Burns. The opening scene is literally right here. So if you can imagine, the camera is all zoomed all the way in. We can't zoom in anymore, but this camera zoomed all the way in to the tower, and then you have the Twin Towers right behind it. It's an amazing shot. And then here in the foreground, abandoned cars, garbage, old train trestles. It did not look this pretty with the flowers all nice and the trees all blooming. But it's a beautiful day here in New York, and I'm very grateful to do what I do. And even though the bridge is completely bonkers, full of people who don't pay attention, I still love it. I will take the madness of the Brooklyn Bridge and the madness in Central Park anytime. And now I know why my bikes are in such bad condition. These kids are doing papa wheelies and jumping over curbs. Anyway, come out to Unlimited Biking, where you bike more and pay less. You can ride with some of our new Cannondales. That's right. Aren't the surroundings gorgeous? This is Ann's Warehouse right over here. And then this is the Empire Stores right over there. Got a little picnic area. Got a little picnic area over there. These kids are flying on these bikes. Hopefully they don't get into an accident. I don't want these kids to get into an accident on my bikes. And they're not on my tour anyway, so I don't care. But there it is, 135. I can't believe she's 135 years old. 135 years young, and the stories that this bridge could tell. Probably my favorite movie to show, to watch, that's not a documentary about the Brooklyn Bridge, is a great film by, well, I forget the director actually, from 1949. It's called It Happened in New York, starring a very young Frank Sinatra. The ending scene happens right there in the middle of the bridge. I'm not going to tell you what happens. It's very romantic what happens at the very end of that movie. But Frank Sinatra is like, well, let me see a picture of your goil. And the picture of his goil is the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, man. I love this spot here. Hand holding the phone, olden school style here on YouTube. I said, should I do this video on YouTube or Periscope? I said, let me do it on YouTube. Because, you know, we would have nonsensical comments if we did this on YouTube, if we did this on Periscope. So, and plus I want something that's going to endure. So as a moment here in history, we look at it from Brooklyn Bridge Park. Good to see you, guy. Hey, I've been driving the roads of America. What, right? It's a beautiful day. It's bright. The sun is strong, shining. It's the kind of day where you can really overexert yourself. And if you don't have suntan lotion, oh boy, you're in big trouble. But the Brooklyn Bridge, 135 years young today. I wish there was a fireworks show tonight, but there is not a fireworks show tonight. Because if there was a fireworks show, I would have been down here for it. Oh, at home right now, enjoy the time off. You need a tan, get outside. Get outside and you get yourself a tan in about 15 minutes. These kids are riding all over. These kids are riding the bikes all over here. But I see my guests slowly coming back. I want to wish everyone a fantastic New York day, whether you live here or not. Hug your loved ones, cherish the moment, and good afternoon, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. I'll see you guys later, folks. Bye-bye. I'll see you later, Frida Laugh now.